Hi Stuart, lovely to meet up with you at the range again and do some further work on your swing. Just a quick recap on the key points that we covered. First of all, from a setup perspective, I really like what I see from down the line. I think your posture, etc. is superb. Like I said, really good work on that. It wasn't as good as that in previous sessions. I like your grip also. That seems to have softened up since last time I saw you, which is great. The positioning of the club face, superb. Slightly to the right where you want the ball to start its journey, so all good in that respect. The one thing I wasn't too keen on was the fluttering of the feet at setup. So what I asked you to do was, rather than have both feet square, was to turn both feet out more. So we want both feet turned out about 15 degrees. And the reason for that is that it's going to help you rotate better and easier on the way back, and importantly on the way through. What we see at the start of your session is, and we talked a little bit about your backswing, that the hand path is really good. The club gets rolled in behind you a little bit too much, and this is all stuff that we can work on in subsequent sessions. The arms get a little bit long, and the club at the top tends to be short. So the bowl of the left wrist, very reminiscent of Graham McDowell, Dustin Johnson and co. From that position, we can make things work as long as the body keeps moving. Now, case in matter here is on the first shot on the top left, you hit a great shot, you keep the body moving, the club comes down, it doesn't get too much toe down, it's very much on plane, you keep the body moving, and that in turn regulates the rate of closure on the club face. As you can see there, the club pretty passive, staying pretty square to the arc, and that shot was just hit pretty straight, really straight, maybe a fraction to the right, but pretty straight. The problem we have, however, is that on occasion when the body doesn't continue to turn through properly, we get this situation with the club face. Now, it's a very subtle change. It doesn't dramatically change, the swing doesn't look dramatically different, but just through impact, the body stops, the club passes the hand, as you can see there, the shaft not leaning forward, and the club face closes down very quickly through the hitting area, and you can see there quite clearly that we're looking at the back of the club face some 2 feet after the goal shot's been struck. Really high rate of closure on the club face. So what we need to try and do is keep the body moving to control the rate of closure. And that in turn will prevent the ball starting to the left, and will also help you eliminate that shot that's a little bit heavy, that's a little bit ground before the ball. So all we've done at this stage is we've turned the feet out a little bit, and we've asked you to hit some shots whilst trying to keep the arms straight in the finish. So the goal is to finish at about chest height, which you can see you go beyond that, but you're starting to control the club a little bit more through impact. The lower body starts to work a little bit better. We got a little bit more on the inside on this one than we did on the previous shot from view from down the line, which is why we hit out at the golf ball a little bit longer. You can see the difference in the shaft position at that point. This shot was a nice high draw. So hitting out at it's okay. And what we're doing here is we're trying to stop the follow through quicker. We're trying to stop at chest height with the arms straight. And the reason this helps is because in order for you to stop at chest height when hitting the ball flat out, the arms have to stay on the rib cage. The body has to keep turning, because we're not just going to be able to throw the arms at the ball now to generate speed. And when the body keeps turning and the arms stay on the rib cage, the rate of closure on the golf club is controlled. See that, nice and passive, hitting out at the golf ball, so no violent rotation of the club face. When we look at it from face on, feet turned out more, that allows you to turn much more freely on the way back. That takeaway is much, much better. Pretty centred, lacks a bit of left tilt, but again, something for subsequent sessions. Nice move into the golf ball, keeping the body moving, leading a little bit more with the handle of the golf club now, Remember what we talked about, if you lead with a handle, there's less chance of hitting the ground behind the ball. So a little bit more shaft lean at this point, which is good. That's going to get you hitting out at the golf ball for longer, as per the bottom left hand screen, whilst controlling the rate of closure on the club face. So if we look at this one, as we come through, dramatic rate of closure on the club face just after impact, compared to what we see here. It's a much quieter move through the hitting area. If you look at the difference between these two positions as we go through, in regards to the position of the club face, the rate of closure of the club face on this one compared to this one. And that's why a lot of your shots towards the end of the session were going higher, we're starting out to the right more, we're curving back to the left, and we're struck much better. Going forward, one of the things I'd like to see, I just put some nice footage up here of Justin Rose on the practice ground at this year's Open. I'd like to see the takeaway, and again, don't get too bogged down in this, this is just stuff that we can work on when you next visit. I'd like to see the takeaway a little bit more, as we see here with Justin Rose, where the club is a little bit more out in front of the hands, so a little bit less rolling behind of the shaft. That in turn will allow for a better set of the wrist, which in turn will allow for a little bit more of a neutral and less bold position at the top. From a less bold position at the top, you're not as heavily dependent on keeping the body moving, and when you do forget to do it, the result is going to be a little bit less disastrous, if you will, or destructive in regards to the round of golf that you're playing. So, food for thought, feet fluid out, no release, hit the brakes at chest height. Good luck with it, I look forward to working with you again in the coming weeks. Well done.